MamaMax used to be a very well-respected YouTuber, famous for his exposing of predators online. As many of you may remember though, Max got into a huge controversy over a year ago. This was mainly because of his handling of a story involving an alleged cult. Max was heavily criticized for his lack of ethics during this time, as well as mixing fiction with reality, and even making some crazy ARG about child victims fighting predators like Hotline Miami. It then also came out that he might have been lying about previous investigations he did, including one where he claims to have gotten a predator arrested. He faced a lot of backlash and quit the internet for a while, but it seems as though he decided to finally respond from his hiatus. Usually when we talk about responses, they're god-awful. However, Max's response, while not perfect, does actually have some halfway decent points in it. That's not to say it's great or even good. There are a lot of lies and other things that are just wrong, but we'll address those as they come. It's also a 2.5 hour long video, so there's no conceivable way I can cover every single point. If you would like to go over it yourself, I encourage you to do so. I also encourage you to subscribe so that I can feed my starving family. That would be cool. Now, Max starts the video off talking about how he was platforming victims and how he needed help in doing so. A problem with how Max handled this whole thing, though, is he brought all these alleged victims together in one Discord server. A lot of people might not even realize this would impede an ongoing investigation. Getting a whole bunch of victims like this together means authorities cannot verify if they are collaborating to make up stories with each other. Like when the police detain people, there's a reason they get separated, as it's so they can't create a narrative. Even if that isn't what happened, it's the fact it might have happened. Max brings up Moist Critical in the video he made where he clickbaited him, and how there was the segment about how he could cancel Charlie. He tries to say he made it clear this was fake beef, and he made it clear the drama wasn't real. But the thing is that the segment he put in the video about how he could cancel Charlie if he wanted to, from what I remember, it wasn't ever publicly in his video. I think his former editor came out with that clip after Max got exposed. Max also says that despite being immature when making the content he did, he considered the topic too important to stop. This comes off as kind of manipulative. He's trying to say that even when he horribly mishandled these situations, that it was for the greater good, so that evens it out, which I think is kind of slimy. It could have been a good point, but he had to just try and justify this. And he does this with his next point too. I should not have mixed fiction and non-fiction during these topics. I thought entertainment would bring attention to the video, but I was fully transparent about this. No man, you clearly weren't. Like, he's saying the correct things and then fucking it up by trying to justify it. What's crazy though is Max then denies saying he ever got anyone arrested.
Now I'd like to clarify that I never actually claimed to personally get these arrests.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested, it was because of me, it was because of my video.
But I never said this.
Despite the fact we have it on video that he claims the opposite.
Well, I guess the question is like, the next getting at is like, okay, so you want to enact this change. What do you hope is the eventual result of your video?
Okay.
Of all of this.
So I know there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. The rapist that was in the video is currently in police custody.
Max decides to bring up DMs with one of his peers, Oompaville. Oompaville gave the green light on that god-awful Sniper Wolf video Max made. Now, to be honest, the fact that Oompaville said it was anything other than dog shit is crazy, especially since Oompaville was one of the people desperately trying to distance himself from Max after everything went downhill. He said in his video specifically that going after Charlie was a bad idea.
He wanted me to cover this and give him feedback, and I was like, bro, there's no evidence of this guy. I can't even, it feels like an ARG. This feels fake. This feels like I don't know. I want to help. Obviously, I don't want people to be hurt, and I don't want victims to be victimized even further, but there's nothing to stand on here. There's nothing to stand on. And it's just like defamation, and there's no evidence, and you're calling out fucking Charlie, which we'll get into that too.
Yet in private was saying it was a great video. What a fucking snake. Max decides to move on to the Night Docs stuff. For those of you unaware, Night Docs was falsely accused of some pretty heinous shit. Max has now made an argument as to why he could not have been the one to accuse Night Docs of being a predator. No matter how you look at it though, all these guys around him seem to treat him like garbage. Doesn't really matter who made the accusation, to be honest. If anything, they're the biggest piece of shit, but you guys all kind of suck. Mudahar and Nexpo responded to this, denying they made the file accusation against Night Docs and saying Max provided zero evidence. So right now it really just looks like a he said, she said situation. Max then decides he's going to try and go after DeOrio in his video.
So just by looking at the thumbnail, I can immediately tell that DeOrio is going to be as honest and objective as possible, by giving me additional hair and enhancing the shadows on my forehead to make me look as creepy as possible.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the real questions are getting answered. Why did You give him more hair, Nick. He then makes a whole bunch of claims about Nicholas DeOrio, claims that Nick was fine with his Charlie video, but this is wildly untrue.
Truth and reality, especially given that Nicholas DeOrio originally had no criticism when I first showed him the Charlie video. And then once he saw the backlash, he changed his mind to have a few light criticisms. And then after Mudahar recruited him to be his lapdog in the defamation campaign, he took a complete 180 and did everything in his power to make me look as horrible as possible.
All right, every single thing he just said was false. Send you a 30-second clip. I do. Do you remember that part? This was what he sent me, and I shit you not. This is when you read me say, right? When you read me say the words, I'm kind of confused if this is a trailer or something, but there's not much I can critique here. I remember what it was. It was this. He sent me this. So anyways, I wrote back to, and you said, I thought he sent you the first video. That video had been public release. So no, that's not what he sent me. He's talking about a 30-second clip that I signed a non-disclosure agreement for. That's why these messages are in order, right? That's why I sent a picture of it. You see this picture here? This is a picture of the video that he has since removed.
There's then just a huge segment about night docs, but a lot of it really isn't relevant to the important shit. He brings on some guy who just rambles for an obscenely long time. We're gonna skip a little forward here, and something I want to highlight is that Max is mad that Nicholas DeOrio has a segment on his live streams called Ultimate Rape Review. Something he did when covering the story against you, Max. Sorry, but that's who Nick is. If you don't like the fact that Nick is a guy who cracks jokes and does shit like this, why are you reaching out to him to try to get him to cover serious drama like this? Apparently now Max wants to sue Muda, but I mean, if you think you got a case, man, go ahead. I don't really care. We don't even know if it's a legally binding NDA, so I won't say anything, but you should probably hire a different lawyer than the one you hired last time.
Oh, not ChatGPT, bro.
Okay. So, look at what I just sent you.
Yeah, you sent me a ChatGPT prompt, not a fucking legal definition.
I mean, we can argue legal semantics all we want. We are not lawyers.
Arguing semantics. We have to look at exact definition, Max.
If the judge and jury find a witness statement credible, they can charge or convict you of a crime based solely on witness testimony alone. That is from BergenCriminalAttorney.com. Y'all can look it up.
Show me that definition. Show me that definition, not the ChatGPT. Why'd you not bring me that one?
I am giving you multiple.
Give me the one from the legal definition. Why'd you bring me ChatGPT? Link me that right now.
ChatGPT understands the legal system. Like,
okay, again, you're joking with me.
He then decides to try and shit on Tommy C, someone he's publicly kind of lied about before.
Attacked us on the live streams of people who hate me. Perhaps the...
Why do I hate you? Why would that be? Is it because you told everybody I was permissive of pedophiles?
I think he's allowed to call you a dumb bitch because of that. Max does show some DMs from Muda, apparently shitting on Tommy, but then acting nice to him publicly. Tommy himself doesn't even know if this is real or not, so I'm not gonna say anything.
I would say Tommy C and his call-outs with Max, because I have respect for Tommy C. I've talked to him, and I think if he's gonna say something, there's probably some weight to it.
Most of you will have no idea how hilarious this is to hear.
Oh, it's hilarious to me if true. But the problem is I can't trust your DMs.
Now let's jump forward to the Spencer segment. Spencer made allegations that she was being horribly mistreated when living with Max, and she was not being fed. As it turns out, this was wildly wrong. Spencer was being fed a lot of food. Max, though, actually decides to show that Spencer was a completely horrible person to live with, trashing the house, making messes, raking shit. She seems goddamn crazy. Another person Max tries to shit on is the YouTuber Himpleton. Himpleton made a video sketch where he took one of the Hotline Miami characters Max has masquerading around in his video and fake kills them in the woods. Now, call me crazy. This is a bit mocking your content, Max. The shit Himpleton did in this video is the shit you do in your videos. I mean, come on, the guy who simulated a rape scene with actors is gonna try and morally grandstand about this?
Try. He's not physically hurting me, but was withholding funds that were supposed to be mine since January. Saw me struggling to donate plasma just to feed my dog and myself. So the funds were meant for all of the survivors, not just for her. And after I discovered she was mishandling the money for her personal expenses, I took over as the financial manager.
Okay, this is something I actually really wanted to talk about. What I think he's referring to is how all the money donated to these victims were supposed to be distributed evenly, and how for some reason Spencer was originally in charge of doing so. But then people saw posts from one of the victims saying she couldn't afford basic necessities for their baby. So naturally, people started questioning if other victims were getting money or not, or if Spencer had been pocketing a lot of it. There's a lot of evidence in these messages that do make Spencer look money hungry and how she spent most of the money on herself. It's kind of disgusting. Also, she apparently doesn't have a high school diploma and wanted to forge one. Max told her if she wants to get her GED, she could stop smoking weed, to which she says, no, because nothing else I can do would get me out of the pain. I'd rather not be in pain than be book smart. It's very obvious the kind of person Spencer is. It seems like she physically can't survive on her own, so she just leeches off others. Now we have the personal questions segment. Max brings up the call he had with Muda and Nick and saying he would make a separate dedicated video on this. Good God, I cannot wait for you to try that. There's really not a whole lot from this part of the video, to be honest. It's just kind of hoping, if anything. But the last segment of the video is about his dogs, more specifically a dog named Belphegor. This was supposed to be Spencer's service dog, and Spencer was supposed to care for the dog, which obviously she didn't. This whole part isn't really relevant to anything, but it does further show that Spencer can't do a goddamn thing. And with that, he ends the video by saying regular content will resume soon, which I can only assume he means the predator hunting content. Dude, I don't think that's gonna work out the way you think it is. At this point, man, just switch content types. Just, I don't fucking know, play Roblox or something. Public perception of this video is obviously not that good. A lot of people, really surprisingly, do not want Max back, and I think that's for good reason. The way he did the ARG about child predators was extremely fucked up, and according to some people, actually fucked up what could be a potential investigation. To round this off, I guess, Max did make some decent points. It's not a completely unwatchable video, but there was also a whole lot that was just lies. Ultimately, I don't think Max should return, and if he does, he should not be trusted with topics like this ever again. Max should never touch a predator case for the rest of his career, to be honest. And like I said, Mudahar and Nexpo did also respond to this video publicly. I'm not going to go over those in this video, but I will probably link to them below. Anyway, that's about it. I don't know. Join the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe, I guess, or you too could be indoctrinated into a god cult or whatever. Anyway, I don't know. Later.